We have the ability to do, obviously, investigations. We have the ability to hold hearings. The administration controls the executive function. That's just a reality. And then when it comes to the judiciary, obviously the judiciary has a role to play to determine whether or not a law is constitutional, whether or not an action by the executive is constitutional. What the judiciary should not be doing, though, is trying to create new law or take away authority from either the legislature or the executive. That is not the role of the judiciary, and they should not be engaged.
Thank you, Congressman. Our next ticket comes from an AW. Ticket number 280219. 280219. Somebody has that right here. Gentleman right here in the white. Staff will come to you right now. They will hold the mic, and you'll have 30 seconds to ask your congressman a question. 280219.
This is my voice. Okay, so I recently watched HBO's John Adams. It was a great reminder of what our country was founded on. He said they founded a country ruled by laws and not the whims of an individual. Obviously, it's very important. Congress is responsible for tariffs for a reason. It's a complicated process designed to help the country. Tariffs, as they stand today, will lead us into a recession and possibly a depression. Already 10,000 plus businesses are at risk of failing in the next couple of months, which will cost millions of lives. Okay, so my question is, when will Congress take back the power to prevent economic armageddon?
The mini series on HBO about John Adams was very, very good. But with respect to tariffs, as I talked about earlier, going back to 1825 under the Marshall Law, and subsequently through numerous laws and court decisions, the president has gained significant authority when it comes to tariffs. And so that is something where fundamentally over nearly 200 years, the courts and Congress have given the president the authority on tariffs. Now, folks, let me explain. So, as I said earlier, and as I said in an interview, I think it was with Bloomberg last week, the president put a 90-day pause on tariffs. The issue of reciprocal tariffs, I have no problem. The issue here, I believe, in part, is the implementation of it. And I think what you have to do, if you get negotiated trade agreements over the next 30, 45 days, and by the way, you look at Canada, for instance. Canada is almost entirely reliant on the United States. Right? 40% of Canada's trade is with the U.S. 60% of their GDP is based on the U.S. So if there's not a trade agreement between the U.S. and Canada, that would be catastrophic for Canada. Right? And so it is going to be incumbent. They got through their election. All right? They got through their election. They're going to negotiate a trade agreement. You look at Mexico. Mexico, President Sheinbaum has been actually handling this, in my opinion, very, very well. She has engaged the administration from the start. She cooperated when it came to the cartels and putting more troops on the border to stop the influx. So Mexico and the U.S. and Canada are going to get a trade agreement by necessity above all other things. Japan and India are in the process of negotiating these agreements. You already saw China come out the other day and say that they will work with us on The fentanyl crisis is a big one. And the fact is that the precursors
What does that have to do with tariffs?
have been flowing from China to Mexico, coming into the U.S. and killing over 70,000 Americans a year. It's outrageous. And so having the ability to use trade as a means of pressure on these countries, I don't disagree with it. The issue to me is in the immediate. The administration needs to get these trade deals announced.
Please
If
settle
they
down.
do not
In
get
the back,
these trade
please.
agreements announced, and they seek
Folks,
to
we're almost
increase
through.
tariffs again,
Let's
you will
show
see
the
Congress
respect,
intervene,
please.
and that's what I said the other day to
Thank you, Congressman. Again, as a reminder to everyone, we went over the ground rules from the beginning. If we're going to continue to show disruptive behavior, you will be asked to leave, as we have already seen. Our next ticket holder is DT. Ticket number 280220. 280220, initials DT. Going once. Going twice. All right, we're going down to our last two questions. Next person.
DT is over there.
Where do we have DT? DT question, again, it's the ticket number is 280220. Staff will come to you. Staff will come to you. You have 30 seconds, so hold on to the microphone. You'll have 30 seconds.
Thank you. I do appreciate you calling the administration's, one of them, fucking stupid. You call more than that. Question, you said that universities should be punished for their anti-Semitism by having their funding cut. You've accepted $2 million from anti-Semite. Will you return it to them as a good example?
Ladies and gentlemen, please reserve your seats. We still have two more questions.
So, in my election last November, there was $42 million spent on my race between both sides. And I'm answering it, folks. Calm yourself. So, $1.7 million was spent through America PAC, which is a super PAC. And it was money, obviously, from Elon Musk that he spent across the country in districts like mine. And so the money was spent. It's not coordinated. It's not my money. I didn't accept it. The money was spent as all of these super PACs spend across the country. There's no money to give back. It was not given to me. So on the issue of anti-Semitism on college campuses and federal dollars, I already answered the question, folks. On the issue of federal dollars going to these universities, if they are not going to uphold federal law, then yeah, they're going to have their money pulled. Sorry. And the fact is, when you look at these college campuses, you have a number of issues. You have foreign dollars flowing in from countries like Qatar and China that are intended to manipulate and control what is taught in these schools. They're endowing chairs. I guess you guys don't understand how an endowed chair works, but they endow a chair with the funding for the purpose of actually controlling what is taught. But that being said, my view is that the flow of foreign dollars into our educational institutions needs to be overhauled. The issue of federal dollars going to these institutions, if they're not upholding federal law and enforcing anti-discrimination laws, they should be held accountable. I believe there should be a tax on the endowments. If these endowments are operating like hedge funds, interesting. I mean, you guys just want to tax the rich, but you don't want to tax the endowments. The fact is, these endowments operate like hedge funds, and they should be taxed as such. And ultimately, when it comes to student visas, you are not entitled to them. They are a privilege, not a right. And if you're going to be here and engage in conduct and behavior that violates the rights and freedoms of others, we don't need you here.
Oh, you're right.
Our last question tonight, I appreciate everyone's attention tonight, is from a Dorothy Neerman. Dorothy, 439089. Dorothy? Dorothy, let's let Dorothy ask her question if Dorothy is here. Otherwise, we'll move on to our last question of the night. SM is the initials 280277. SM. Oh, out in the back. Hold on 1 second. Staff will come up to you with the microphone. Staff will hold the microphone.
What's the number?
We'll have 30 seconds. The number is 280277.
Sorry, I wasn't prepared for this and I also got here late, so I don't know if anyone has asked yet about HR 867. Anti-Boycott Act. It's supposed to punish Americans for participating in boycotts of Israel or Israeli settlements promoted by international. So I'm just worried about anti-boycotts based on people's values and punishing people's values and their business decisions based off of that.
So the Anti-Boycott Act was originally passed in 2018, and its focus is on foreign policy. And so the United States has foreign policy, which is controlled by the President of the United States. And if there are...
I wasn't paid to be here. Just want to make it
Very
clear to
good.
you.
Thank you for being here.
I was not paid to be here,
I
like
appreciate
you
you
said.
coming.
Let the Congressman answer the final question of the evening. Thank you.
Have a good night. So, the Anti-Boycott Act the focus is on making sure that U.S. businesses, for instance, are not forced into, if they're operating in a foreign country, are not forced into...
Folks, please remain seated for the end of the program.
Not forced into a boycott of a U.S. ally. It's not just about Israel. It is about other countries, maybe adversarial countries, forcing U.S. businesses and individuals into opposing allies. Okay, and so what the IGO Anti-Boycott Act does, is make sure that IGOs like the United Nations, for instance, are also subject to this federal law. So it's expanding out the law to make sure that IGOs like the UN or the EU are subjected to the same law that is already in place with respect to foreign governments. Well, I appreciate everybody coming out tonight and taking the time to answer your questions and hear my answers, whether you like them or not, whether you agree with them or not, or whether you really actually